Hey, what's going on, everybody? Chester Copperpot here, and just wanted to go ahead and do another episode of Q&A just to get caught up on the latest questions and comments that have come through to my inbox. Again, some of these are just going to be addressing comments. Some of them actually are some questions that may be beneficial to everybody. So I haven't actually looked at any of these ahead of time. I know there's several of them, so we'll just kind of jump in real quick. And also, if you have any other specific questions that you want to send along, you can always send those directly to me via YouTube, or I also have a separate email account set up for the channel, and that is chestercopperpotgrows@gmail.com. So anyway, without further ado, the first question here comes from a viewer called Phi Lee. And Phi Lee says, "Great job on your channel. I just have a question in regards to your PPM on this video." And this was on the Season 2, Week 3 update, by the way. So he says, "I'm mixing my newts in a 55-gallon reservoir. I added CalMag, and my PPM jumped to 567. It only started at 60. At this rate, I cannot add any other newts without my PPM going way over. How come you added all those newts and your PPM is just right?" Well, I guess the most logical thing to look at would be, how much CalMag did you add? To get to 567 ppm of the CalMag, that's pretty high. I don't know if maybe you're going like 10 milliliters per gallon on that, but I usually only do about 5 milliliters per gallon. I try to keep the CalMag starting off point, below 400 ppm, and that leaves me room to add in everything else. And as I've said on a couple other videos, I really am kind of a minimalist when it comes to nutrients. I typically will run most things at like half strength of what the bottle recommendations are, because I feel that nutrient companies are trying to turn a profit after all. And so they're going to have you run higher doses than you may actually need, so that you have to buy more. So, I typically keep that low. If you can stay around 350 ppm on your CalMag, you should have plenty of room for all your base nutrients and other additives and PK boosters and stuff like that. So, just start off light, check your PPM, see where you're at, and go from there. Don't even focus so much on the milliliters per gallon, even, while you're trying to get a handle on that. First couple of reservoirs you mix up, check your PPM, and if you need to bump it up, go from there. Okay, this comment came through on the Rockwool pre-soaking video. And this is from Victor Manuel Rosas. I know he's definitely one of the consistent viewers. So he says, "Ready for the new run? Great stuff. Keep it up." Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in, Victor, and looking forward to that stuff. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to the next run myself. The clones are looking really good. I'm going to get a video up of them here shortly, just so everybody can see how they're doing. I've seen a little bit of roots starting to sprout out of some of the stock, so things are looking pretty good on those. I think we're like 10 days in from when we actually put the clones in the Rockwool. So, all right, next we've got a comment on the Week 3 bloom feeding Part 2. So this was from the first season. And this is from a viewer, goes by 420 Science Lab. "Thanks for the insights. I'm running the same medium, and for some reason my pH was crazy high. The girls are hurting bad. I'm going to follow this cocoa series because I like cocoa over soil. Thanks for this info." Awesome. I'm glad to hear the positive feedback, and hopefully you'll, some of my styles and things that I do will help you out. High pH will definitely cause some issues. Obviously, my first thing that I would think there is, what kind of pH meter are you using? Make sure that you invest in a quality pH meter so that you don't have a incorrect reading and cause yourself lockout and burn through that. But let me know how it goes. I always love to hear positive feedback, you know, from people that are getting good takeaways out of my videos, that, you know, again, it makes it all worthwhile. All right, next we've got a comment on the cloned cocoa transplant from last season, and this is from Shankopotamus, and it says, I assumed you simply put the Rockwool cubes right into the cocoa coir. No fancy prep or secrets. I'm collecting knowledge and making decisions right now. Have seen many YouTube videos and yours are done well. Very good info. Seem to hit home with my questions. Please keep it up. Lay it on me, brother. I'm soaking it in. Cool. Yeah, you're right. You know, when it comes to actually transplanting the 2-inch cubes into the cocoa, nothing real special to see there. You know, I think we went over a comment on the last Q&A, you know, that somebody was disappointed that they didn't see that process, but there's really not much to it. I mean, we know we're going to be putting in 2 inches worth of Rockwool, so I just leave 2 inches at the top of the pots and put the Rockwool cube in there and fill it up. So that's basically all there is to it. You know, I hope that you're still getting good takeaways out of the videos. I think I'm going to reshoot that video in particular. You know, with this next batch of clones, we'll probably just redo that. You know, that's going to be coming up here in the next couple of weeks, so I'll probably just, you know, actually show what the cubes look like before I bury them, and that way, you know, that does eliminate some of the guesswork, you know, for people who have never actually done it before. So, glad you're enjoying the videos, though. All right, this is another message that I got from viewer CT, and that's the one that we had talked about quite a bit at the beginning of the last Q&A. You know, she had some issues with her plants were showing some potassium lockout, and that was, we discovered, caused by faulty membrane on her RO filter. So she was actually getting like a calcium toxicity, which was making enough buildup of calcium that it was locking out the potassium at the same time. So on the last Q&A, I actually forgot to tell you guys what I actually told her, you know, which was to flush the plants thoroughly with, you know, 3 times the pot volume of just fresh water, and then start reintroducing the nutrients at about a quarter strength, and then work up from there. And that seemed to work out pretty well for her. So she just sent me another follow-up here and says, thank you for all your help. Things are looking much better. Thanks for the curing video, as I will need it in a couple of weeks. And of course, that's up now. I think it's been up for a couple of weeks now. I've done my RO flush and light newts. One thing we didn't discuss was that I was using reused cocoa, which I have not stopped doing. Tried to rinse, but never could get good results because of my hard water at the tap. Too much demand on RO for all the flushing, as membranes would be too costly. Maybe this will help others. Hope you're not in Estes Park. We have friends there, and they surely miss the California weather since it was 80 this week. Thanks again, CT. All right, so yeah, so again, just to go through this one by one here, curing video is up, so hopefully you've already seen that, CT, and hopefully that'll provide you the information you need on the curing process. And you know, you bring up a good point with the reusing the cocoa. You know, with the, you know, it's been rinsed out with the hard water. I think for the most part, you know, if you're reusing that cocoa and you're flushing it out with that hard water, I don't think that's really too big of a deal, just because of the fact that, you know, most of us, when we flush out our cocoa and reuse it, we have to reintroduce calcium and magnesium back into the medium, and you kind of are at a benefit in that stage, really, if you think about it, because when you flush it out and you rinse it with all of that hard water, you're basically keeping a pretty steady level of calcium in there. So my thought on that would be that, you know, at least for your first maybe 2 to 3 feedings after you, you know, transplant it back into that cocoa, I just wouldn't use any CalMag, you know, unless the plants start showing some sort of deficiency. But I would think with that much hard water in there, there should be plenty to go for at least a few weeks. So, you know, if it was me, I would just kind of watch the plants real closely for that first couple feedings, and then maybe at the 3rd or 4th one, you know, start throwing in 5 milliliters per gallon on the CalMag Plus, and then that'll keep you stable for the rest of the grow cycle, since at that point you are using the RO. So, because yeah, I agree, replacing membranes over and over would be too costly. Let's see. No, I'm not in Estes Park. I am in southern Colorado, actually. And I think, when you wrote this message a couple of weeks ago, I know they had been getting some pretty gnarly weather up there. Things have been good for a while, but actually this last few days, I know the mountains got pounded with snow again. We got a fair amount down here, so I don't mind it though. I've grown up here, and I really actually have come to embrace the snow and the seasons that we get. It's it's fun around here. Once you start getting tired of one type of weather, there's surely change right around the corner. So Colorado's a great state. But overall, CT, I'm really glad that we were able to help you out, and keep me updated on how things are going. Good luck with the remainder of your garden, and let me know how your harvest turned out after dry and cure. All right, and next we've got a comment from the Season 2 transition day. So that was day 1 of the 12-12. We've got a comment from Will I Am, and he said, "Isn't it better to do all your topping a week before you flip? That way they are not all stressed out from the topping and the light change." Yeah, absolutely. As I said on that video, and I think in the comments to another viewer, is that due to my hectic life, the veg plants had gotten a little bit taller than I had originally anticipated before I put them in the flowering garden. So, as a last-minute decision, I went ahead and just did one set of topping on all of them and a little bit of super cropping, just to try to, preemptively deal with the height issues before I put them into 12-12 and make them stretch. And, in a perfect world, you wouldn't want to do any topping or super cropping after the flip, but realistically, you can. Absolutely you can. And really, if you watch the remainder of this grow season, that's your proof. Because I did it, right at the flip, and there was absolutely no adverse effects on the plants whatsoever. So, hope that answers your question.